Hey, what's up? This is going to be a guide to setting up how to host local games in Arma 3 and probably Arma 2 at the same time. But this specific one will be for Arma 3. I'm going to cover port forwarding your router, port forwarding your firewall, because those are required, and using a server launcher to launch the game server for you to join. Okay, so this is going to be really rough, but I'll try. I'll try and make a guide for this. So the first thing you're going to want to do, in my opinion, is port forward your firewall. And you can get to your firewall settings by hitting Start, Control Panel, System and Security, Windows Firewall. Then on the left-hand side, Advanced Settings. That will bring you to this screen here. You're going to want to go over to the left side and hit Inbound Rules. And on the right hand side of that, click New Rule. You will click Port here and then click Next. You're going to set this up for TCP, and the ports you're going to use are, let me just double check what mine are I've set up already. For TCP, you're going to want to have ports set up like this. So you're going to want to put 2302, space 2303, space 8766, space 27016. And then in the action, so you would click Next, allow the connection, Next, make sure all these are ticked, Next, name it something that you'll recognize. Mine is named TCP Arma. And then you're gonna hit Finish there, and it'll create. The next thing you're gonna want to do is create another rule for TDP, or whatever the other one is, TCP and UDP. So you would click UDP and then add the same ports. Over here is my Arma UDP. Properties, protocols and ports is the same ports. So whatever you put into the TCP, you do the same for the UDP. And that should allow, you should get UDP Arma or whatever you've called it, and TCP Arma. Those cover Arma's ports and Steam's ports, and you need those open in the firewall to get yourself going. So I can hit cancel and then just make sure all that's applied. They should show up in the list here and here somewhere, depending on the games you've got. So that's your firewall forwarded. Okay, so I'll close that. Sorry for the noise there. Alright, so you've got your firewall done. Next thing you're going to want to do is your router, which means you're going to want to be here on this thing. For me, it's my super hub, my forwarding ports. You're going to want to create 4 different protocols, and you obviously put your IPv4 address in there, start port and end port. I do it the same, so for my Arma 3 it's 2302 there, 2302 there, TCP and UDP, named it Arma 3. Then I do an Arma v2, which is 2303 in there and 2303 in there. And then I've got Steam 1 and Steam 2, which are 8766 and 27016. Make sure that you hit apply over here, and that should save those ports forwarded. And you should be good to rock and roll with your port forwarding from there on. And the next thing you're going to want to head to is Armaholic here, and download Tophe's Arma Dedicated Server Tool, TADSTD, DST, wow, whatever. This is pretty damn cool. I'll show you what it actually does, and you can just hit the download there. And to install this, you need your Arma 3 root directory like this, and then once you've downloaded Tophe's server tool, you'll have the zip file wherever. Let me just grab the zip file so that it's on the screen so I can show you what you do. I downloaded it pretty recently. There. Alright, so for explanation's sake, I'll put it on the desktop. So you would open the zip file, and you would see this folder. Go into that folder, drag the exe into your root directory. So like it would be, as soon as you enter the Arma 3 bit, when you've got all this here, you just drag the exe into this, and then when you launch the exe, it'll bring up this pretty cool looking window. And what you do is, well, what I do is I just double click server name and it puts a name in there. You can do the same for a password and an admin password. Just double click and it'll generate a random one. Set your max players here, 2 up to, I have no idea, a ridiculous number. Okay, you're never going to need more than 260 players on there. So yeah, you would set that as whatever you wanted. And then server file, I just double click that and it comes up with arma3 server.exe. You can change the rules to voting, vote threshold. Not really sure, I've not really messed with any of that. Set a message of the day. You can choose all the missions that you have in your MP missions folder. They have to be in PBO format. You just chuck them in PBO format into your MP missions folder and you should be able to select them from here. You can enable and disable mods in this panel. You can set the difficulty, so you would be like changing friendly skill, precision, enemy skill, enemy precision. You can also change a load of in-game parameters on this bit, which is pretty damn cool. Server performance, unless your server's struggling, I doubt you're going to need to do anything there, and server scripts if you want any scripts running. And then all you do is hit launch, and it will launch the server for you. If you double click this and that this here doesn't pop up, make sure that you have the Arma 3 server here. It should be there. I would imagine it is there, and that's all it needs to point to. That way you should be able to find your Arma 3 server when you're searching for it. I'll put a link to the Armaholic download page for Tophe's launcher. This thing, I'll put a link in the description. And also you should know your router's IP. I guess it varies depending on which router you have, but yeah, just make sure you forward those ports. And fingers crossed, that should allow you to host a game locally. And what I'll do is I'll launch Arma real quick. And yeah, we'll see it working, I guess. So I'm using the default game, no mods. I'll launch Arma. And the only thing that you'll see that isn't on screen, actually I'll set it up so that you can see it. I have to capture my other monitor. Bear with me a sec. Yeah, that's my other monitor. Alright. And then on the other side, you're going to have Arma. Give me a sec. I wasn't prepared for such a thing. Alright, so yeah. First thing I'm going to do is find this, have this open. I'm going to launch the mission Test Stratus. I just double click it, hit launch, and you'll see it launching on your thing. It'll look like you're launching Arma again. It'll come up with the loading add-ons and stuff like that. But you're actually launching the server for it. And once it's done, there'll be a little icon thing that'll pop up. telling you the server's running, you can just minimize that or put it somewhere on your desktop behind everything. So theory says this should be working. So what I can do is hit monitor 1 and then go over to Arma, hit play, multiplayer, and it should show up. There it is, my server. All I've done is in the filter section, put whatever the automatic name is for the server on Tophe's thing. So if I click this, you can see it says Boxes server when I double clicked server name. So I just copy that, throw that into the host name over here, and then it ends up coming up. If I hit OK, it shouldn't take long. There it is, Arma 3 server, 2 players, 118 ping. I don't think that's right because I'm obviously only pinging myself, I guess. And there, it's also available on LAN. So yeah, fingers crossed that actually works for you. I really do hope it does. So give it a like, a comment, whatever. And yeah, hopefully I get to see you in Arma. Alright, take it easy. Hope it helps. Peace.